Oxygen levels depleted. Warning. Evacuate immediately. Self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, Erwin, thank you so much, man. That is very kind, Erwin. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, Kevin, Incursions is never gonna die.
Evacuate immediately. Warning. Escape pod malfunction.
Alrighty. I'll turn it down to tunes. I'll turn them down so we can talk. We can hang out. We can talk about incursions, which is happening. We can talk about last day to get your votes in if you want to participate in our survey. Today is the last day. We close it on Wednesdays. That way we don't get too much or too little. We leave a little bit of time. So the most we've ever allowed, I think, is like 2,000 a time. And the lowest is, I think, especially when we got started, right around 1,000. So whether you're part of the many or the few, thank you to those who do participate. Erwin, Danka, merci beaucoup. Thank you very, very much for hitting us with a super chat to get started with the stream. And if you're curious what account we're starting with today, in the background, you're going to notice my Server 710 account because, well, Rev's got some grinds to work on. I'm working towards level 25. I really want to be level 25. I really want to start working on my Vidar. And also, I just placed number 1 in the FC leaderboard event, and I'm pretty proud of that. So that was kind of fun too. It's nice to actually score first. So I got a nice juicy chunk of Syndicate XP for this level. So that was, it's a good day for me. It is also, as Erwin reminds us, Cerritos Wednesday. Now, I don't have a Cerritos on this account, so can't do anything with that there, but it is Cerritos Wednesday, and of course, Battle Pass going on. And I would argue, I mean, when they first started the Flash Passes, we talked about which ones had value, which ones maybe didn't have as much value. I would argue that this Flash Pass is one of the valuable ones. I really, really like the officers in the Flash Pass. I'm very curious to think or see what any of you think. Obviously, all opinions welcome. Intimidator, Ultravitica, Viper, good to see you. Good to see you. It was a lot of clicks SLB when doing that FC enlistment, because what ended up happening is during the month, I got Janeway unlocked, right? So I unlocked Fleet Commander Janeway here on the new account. And then I just sat there and just boop, 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 boop. Lots of clicking. I think the grinding in this game is just who has the better clicking finger, who can avoid the cramps and all that. And this was a rare Rev win. So of course I got to talk about it. Very, very excited about winning it, but I had no shot. I didn't even place on server 20, but server 710, I'm number 1. This feels good. How many times have you started first accounts to experience the starting grind again? So Robert, I try to do it a minimum of 1 time a year. This one on server 710 is a little bit different because I am planning on staying. I don't see me stopping. I mean, the whole point of it is, I've had many accounts before. We've talked about different level accounts I've had, including, higher levels than the one I play on most. But I want to have main accounts that are as close to the average user populace as I can, right? Being a content creator that tries to help out everyone, meaning I don't perfectly help out anybody, but I try to help out everybody. I want to have accounts that, 1, can make sure that I understand the experience those players are going through, and 2, I mean, this isn't a shot at higher level CCs because we have great CCs, but like Lube is a G6 player. Well, I mean, as a player, if you walk in new to a content creator's video and you just see somebody who is like so ridiculously above you, an early thought for many is going to be, well, they don't empathize. They don't understand the play experience of where I am going through. Does that make sense? So that doesn't make Lube bad or even Lube non-knowledgeable. It's just the perception of what a lot of players are going to have when they're looking at you. So I try to avoid that perception by having, the experience that can only really be gathered by doing what I do. So yeah, that's the short and the skinny of it. What ops level do you tend to stop new accounts? It depends, Robert. This one, I'm not going to stop because my whole goal was to get this into the 30s, relive the 30s experience, and then even go into the 40s because by then the 40s will have changed even more. But I've had accounts that I stopped at 23. I've had accounts that stopped at 28. I've had accounts that I actually left at 14. I've had multiple accounts. I had accounts that I did make it into the 30s and then quit. So it just depends. It just really depends. See, Willie says they free-to-play Marvel Strike Force and only follow free-to-play CCs. So that's what I hope to have, because obviously my main account is not a free-to-play account. Well, I've talked about it before with the stipend that Scopely gives content creators. That account is about I estimated $150 to $200 a month account. That is clearly not free-to-play, so I need something that is. Now, this one is not pure free-to-play. This one has had extra builder, extra researcher. Now, that's it, but it's had those two things thrown on it. So, it's, again, just goes back to trying to give everybody as much as I can. But anyway, I'm tangenting. Erwin says, I agree with you. The officers in the Flash Pass are good. Sadly, they're already maxed. Erwin, that must be nice because I don't have a max. Now, I will also say, I just talked about having not spent on this account, but let me add a caveat real quick. Temptation, huge for this Flash Pass because of the officers that are in it. Now, that might not be the case for everybody here, but for me personally, these officers are super valuable as a low-level player and super needed. I don't need to put you there. I'll put that there. Let me show you what I mean. So if y'all haven't looked at the Flash Pass, I know a lot of y'all might be like me where most Flash Passes you probably semi-ignore. If you click into the Flash Pass, you can see that we've got Nurse Chapel, Tom Paris, and Epic and Benga. Now, I don't think that Epic and Benga is bad. It's just not the one I'm focused on. The ones I'm focused on are Tom Paris and Nurse Chapel. Because think about this. We talk about that for Bartman, who's late. What a shabby person that is. We talk about what officers affect you. And when we're doing loadouts in the 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, we're always talking about, well, you want Nurse Chapel below decks to go fight this hostile and stuff. If I can unlock these at 24, that is huge. That's huge. So that is my current focus, and I'll admit the temptation is to purchase this Flash Pass because at the end of it, I will have, if I purchased it, I would get enough to unlock Nurse Chapel. But that would be spending $10, and I think that goes against the spirit of what I'm trying to do with the account, but I haven't decided. If I limit myself to purchases that are $10 and below, I still feel like that's not bad, but I don't know. It's one of those, I see the value, and I'll admit it's a little smidge. I'm admitting this, and this is my support group. It's a smidge of FOMO, okay? I'll acknowledge it. It's a smidge of FOMO, okay? But I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to behave. All right. Al says, I love you for wanting to be relevant to all players, no matter what level. Yeah, I want to, and there's pros and cons of that, right? By extension, it's going to be difficult to perfectly understand everyone's experience because I'm trying to do all the experiences. But, I spend just as much time talking to people like you, Al, as a free-to-play, as I do Istio, who was in the video, who's level 70 and the biggest spinner in the game. I really want to, know y'all. So, Moose, good to see you, Moose. Quit your job and start streaming more. Good to see you, Moose. Oh, it was great seeing you in Ultra's stream earlier. And being to see that Tom Paris is legitimately one of the best officers in the game, and with a few who have little or no substitutes. Absolutely agree, meme. And the one drawback to that Flash Pass is I would have to add it up. I don't think I would get Tom Paris, but I would get Nurse Chapel, who would make sure. Put it this way, meme. This account would never struggle with Gorn and stuff by the time I get there if I had Nurse Chapel by now, early on. But as far as Tom Paris goes, there's another 3 there. I would not get enough to Tom Paris. Let's see, that's 3, that's 8. 14, 17, I wouldn't get enough, but I would get enough for Chapel, right? Now, long term, hey, maybe another one of these came around for Paris. And obviously, Tom Paris is an officer I want to source that they don't openly source in the game at this level. But that would clearly be a goal for, I think, a lot of players to be able to nab that. So I am going to throw this up real quick. She need upgrading? Nope. Nope. So we're gonna confirm that because my event today, y'all have events, of course, and y'all saw I've got unlocked Blonde Taurus, free to play. I didn't buy her or anything, free to play unlocked Blonde Taurus. But I've got to do swarms where y'all have to do Gorn if y'all are doing the Nexus event. So I have not gotten a Franklin. I skipped the Franklin. So now I've got to go hunt swarms, and I got to decide what swarms I'm going to hunt. I honestly don't know. I'll actually let chat help out as we get into our topics today. Tier 5 Vocalus, what level swarm would you hit? What level swarm would you hit? FOMO proves you're human, more or less. Fair. I do struggle with FOMO. I've beat it. Like, I've beat FOMO, but that doesn't mean it doesn't try to creep in. You know, anybody that has been clean knows what that's like. You know, you know what it's like. IT says, I could never afford to drop $100 on packs, but 10 and 20 battle passes aren't a problem. Yeah, there are a lot of people like that. And there's nothing wrong with being pure free to play or $10 a month. But I would say that I come from a background where $100 is a lot of money, right? That is a lot of money. You know, for example, $100 is half. I'm not saying you'll have to donate. If y'all do donate, that's appreciated. I only mention it, you know, maybe once or twice every stream. But like, you know, $200 is 2 packs, but that's what it costs to take my kids to a hockey game for the first time and give them an experience that, well, they normally wouldn't have. So I don't have the ability. I'm just using as a personal example to where I'm at as a human. I can't choose both, right? Like it would be, okay, do I spend $200 to take my kids to a hockey game and show them things that they, you know, probably wouldn't normally have? Well, I mean, obviously they wouldn't if I don't take them, but, or do I buy 2 packs in game? There are plenty of people out there, and I'm so happy that they exist. I'm so happy for them that can choose both. Like, you know, we don't have to worry about picking one. We just do it. Rev has to choose. And I choose hockey game. So that value of what things are worth is all over depending on where you're at. So it just depends on where you're at. We got merged, and it ruined the game. Change again. Now the lag is making it playable. Well, I think lag is affecting everything. I don't think that has to do with your servers merging. I just think that stability has been slowly dropping over the past few months. I would argue last month was the worst month that we've had probably in the past. I would say last month was the worst one we had this year. So not October. I think September was the worst. If we're going by grading backs that up. Now keep in mind that we have not been able to tally the grades so far for this month. But if I eyeball where the stability scores are from October, the stability scores from October are better than the stability scores from September. I mean, September just had really, really poor scores. In fact, let me go ahead and put this on the screen. I sadly did not have this ready to put it at the end of the survey like I normally do, but I can show y'all what the history has been. Now, let me do this real quick. Give me just a second. I'll put it on the screen. I got to save it and then open it up on the screen and put it over here and blah, 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 blah. Give me just a second while I ramble. I got to eat up that dead space. It's something in my brain tells me to do it. All right, y'all don't need to know that part. The comments section at the very end. That way we can fit it all on the screen, and there we go. It's not centered, and that bugs me. There we go. Okay, so the very top is the latest one. The latest one, and you see the officers got a mostly, I mean, kind of, I mean, they skewed positive, right? If you get to, so what you really want to pay attention to when we do these is not the letter grade as much as red or green. Right? Because that is determining, okay, are we getting more positive or more negative votes? If you see red, that means you got more negative votes. You see green, you got more positive, right? So you can see here, the calendar kind of broke even, which was really weird. I don't think we've never had a kind of a break even. It broke even towards the negative, whereas it wasn't to 1%. It was closer to 0, but it's still slightly negative. But I mean, that was an improvement if you tracked how the calendar has been, where we've had the calendar be a negative basically all year. Going all the way back to February is the last time it kind of swung a little bit positive. Well, this was the best the calendar's done, and it's still a barely passing grade, right? Whereas comms was seen as better last month, stability the worst that we've had since all the way back to last December, really bad. And then as far as officers, it got back in the positive, but still not in a screaming positive way. And Symbiosis Part 1 also got positive in terms of features, coming off a really bad month of features. And that was the Nova Building, G6 Solos, and Lorca Fleet Commander, which, again, kind of tracks if you go back to the last time we had features be kind of positive, which was back in May. Everybody's like, well, what happened there? You didn't really get a new feature. You got the Gorn Eviscerator and the ISO refinery got expanded on a little bit. So months that don't have heavy features, you notice y'all consistently give a little bit more positive grade to. So for all those who like keeping up with those, oh yay, Comcast. All right, Comcast, bring it back around, buddies. Come on, Comcast. All right, we should be good. If you're still here, let me know. Comcast decided to have a hiccup, so that was annoying. All right, yeah, Comcast had a little delay. So anyway, as far as those survey results go, of course, y'all are always welcome to request them or ask to see them. And if y'all are looking for the form, I'm posting it in the chat. Steven says, don't need details, but just curious if there are arc runners who are consistently better and ones who always score bad. Truthfully, no. Now, are there arc runners that have certain paradigms and certain like strategies? Yes. Now, Scopely has been very clear. They don't like us sharing who the arc runner is unless they do it first. Now this year they've been more willing to say, hey, this is the person doing this month, and even sometimes that person. Now we'll say this, Steven, sometimes you'll have a arc runner who's very communicative and wants to know and will be like in the official Discord. He'll hop into streams and see what comments are. And then you have others who just simply stay away from the player base period and focus on doing their month. But I will say there aren't any that are just like consistently bombing. Now, we'll also tell you that there aren't many live ops people who've been there like 6 years, right? So in practice, you might get a arc runner has 2 months in the entire year, right? Now they might be support, but in terms of like month they actually control, they have maybe 2 or 3 in the entire year. And then they'll be supporting on others, or they'll be part of like an overall, arc, and they're being support for the arc itself, but they're not running the month. But there isn't really any that are just like, hey, they're consistently bombing or consistently doing great. Because you got to remember that as an arc runner, those are the people who do events. They are often bound by what is coming out that month. So if we know that, say, 3 new features and a new ship and stuff are all coming out at once, it's going to be really tough for them to make something that month that people enjoy, right? Events-wise. You're just going to have people feel overload, which I think is normal. And it's going to be tough to make everybody happy. So, all right, let me see how we do against this 28. That's a big one. I don't think we're going to beat that. I don't even want to bother with, you know what? I'm going to try it. You never know. You never know. Brick says lag this month was a little worse than lag this month was a little worse this month compared to other months. So I'll be curious to see, Brick. Now I will say so far, again, just going off what happened last month, which to me was the worst of the year. But it depends on who you ask. It was definitely bad for me. And hey, I won. Look at that. It stayed alive. It was only going to get like 2 of them. But look, it survived. I'm proud of it. I'm going to put it in a weaker system, though, because I don't want to just hit 2 and then leave. So anyway, if we're going by what people have voted so far this month, it's not that bad. Now, y'all could change that, right? By the end of me closing at the end of business day today, maybe 300 people come through and they just really want me to know how bad stability's been. Stability is not as bad this month from what y'all have graded so far. Just to give you some numbers, between A and B grades, it's like 27% of players have given stability like A or B, which is really good. And then another like 38% have given it a C, only 12% have given it an F. So it's definitely leaning more positive this month. Now, that can't speak for everybody. That can only speak to the people who participated, which is why I tell people, doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with Rev, go put it in. That way, if it is more problematic, we can see. Because I, really hyped up and loved the improved stability that came with the Unity update. But we're going on 4 months now where it feels like mostly stability has been more negative. That needs to, get adjusted, right? How did Arena score? Mostly positive, which is what I expected, to be honest. Mostly positive. And again, it's not done yet, and more people can... Because I know there are a lot of people who have stopped participating because they feel frustrated, they don't believe it works. And I think this month is a great way to show, yeah, clearly feedback works. It just might not be the feedback we like all the time. But to give you numbers on PvP arenas, between A and B is right around 20%. I'm sorry, A plus and A is right around 20%. I apologize. B is 18%. C is 23%. F is 21%. So there is, and then D is 13. So yes, there is a large portion of people who don't like arenas at all. Those are gonna be your F grades, right? And then there are people who are frustrated through things like stability, matchmaking. That's going to be most of your D and C grades because there's comments that we can back up. But there's a massive chunk of A and B, right? It's definitely more positive. At the same time, it's clearly still got issues because it is like, it's one of those that usually you'll see things when you do these surveys. At least I've noticed this. Most things that are good tend to have like a bubble like between C and B, right? Things that are very divisive, that are like loved and hated, will have huge chunks in A, F, and smaller C bubbles, right? And that's what Arenas is at, where it's got these heavy weights on either side and not as many people clustered in the middle that we're used to seeing. So it just depends on who you're asking. That's what's made the arena conversation so tough, though, right? Because it's very similar to Incursions in that aspect where some people love it or hate it, and there's not much you're going to do to shift those people. They have made their decision. I would love people to give things more time because I do think, and I said this as soon as it came out, a lot of the matchmaking woes in arenas have to get fixed by running them for 2 months, right? You've got to run them for several weeks to start getting that separation for the ranking part of matchmaking to matter more. But I get it. It's going to be one of those things that people love, hate, and that's just how it is. So we have to try to make adjustments. Now, the good thing is because we have Incursions starting, for my server starts tomorrow, but with Incursions, we do have the good side of things, which is, I'm sorry, with Arenas, the good side of things where you're not directly inconveniencing somebody. And I know that's a big gripe in Incursions. Not one that I like to really adhere to and agree to, but at the same time, I understand and respect that that conversation exists, and I repeat it so that I'm not diminishing that voice, right? Me says, I bet it's because stability this month has been great outside of arenas, but inside arenas hasn't been as great. That's the thing, Mean. Not that many people, I mean, look, have I been getting arenas lag gripe? Absolutely. In fact, I got it a lot in week 3, right? But most of the comments about arenas aren't lag. Now, I'm not saying that isn't happening. It absolutely is. I'm simply saying that I don't think it's as widespread as loud voices make you seem. And I want to be very clear because I know we're in, like, if you're in the US, we're in a very political climate now, so everybody's kind of on edge. But let me say this. If you were to go just by Discord and YouTube comments, you would think that arenas is the laggiest, worst feature presented to the game in months, right? Based on what you're seeing visually with people talking. When things like this survey happen and then you actually track the participation of players, it says the exact opposite. And that's the tricky thing for me is, okay, figuring out where that balance is. Because the people who are experiencing lag aren't lying and they're not wrong. But there's this majority of players who seem to be fine and liking things, right? So you got to find the happy little bubble in the middle and try to figure out how to make everybody happy and fix things that are problematic. So that's very tricky because I definitely don't want to tell the people who are experiencing lag, well, clearly you're not. They are. But is it affecting everybody? And that's the tricky thing to figure out because I'm also limited in the fact that I don't have Scopely's numbers. I only have what we can determine ourselves. And shout out to Chrono for being willing to work so much with me so we can really try to pinpoint these things. But, you know, it's like I put out the statistic yesterday. Week 3 of arenas saw another increase in players. So more people did it. And we actually refined how we tracked. I had the idea like, look, we're going to take the solo mining leaderboard because, and this is not a perfect science. I'm not trying to claim this is a perfect science, okay? But my thought was, everybody mines in one way or another for Mining Monday because it's either passive and they're doing it or they're actually competing. But Mining Monday is a very passive, easy to record metric. Most people who are quote unquote active are going to do that. Even if they don't win it, even if they don't place, they're still going to score in the leaderboard, right? So the logic was we took everybody who participated in that leaderboard, find out the total number of players who were, by that measure, active, and then compared it to the number of players who did arenas. And what we found was almost 60% of players who were active during their 8-hour periods did arenas, which is a huge freaking number of people. That is a massive percentage that I did not expect. So who's this? Shout out to Kinslayer. Nice D3, buddy. And I still think that arenas is a long way from being Gucci. You know what I mean? But I was like shocked to see that many people doing it. So now to be very upfront and clear, because I'm not trying to hide behind numbers, that is not the same way we tracked it the first 2 weeks, which was just straight up everybody who was in the level range, what percentage of those players participated. So you had about 3,500 more total players participate this time around versus the first two. So Viper says, how can you compare the mining event with arenas when ships are recalled when you enter the arena? Simple, Viper, because you scored points. Like if you were called in the arena, you scored points. Bam, done. If you did anything during that 8-hour period with a miner at all, any point during the day, you scored a point in the solo leaderboard for mining, which let us know you were active. That's how we track. And again, it is an imperfect measurement. Imperfect measurement. But tracking the 24-hour period that the mining leaderboard is active, grabbing anybody who is active in those periods that you can, and going with that. Again, imperfect science. But without having Scopely giving anybody numbers, because they don't give any content creator numbers that I'm aware of, we have to figure out ways to figure it out for ourselves. If you want to use the same metric that we used in the first 2 weeks, then you saw the same thing, right? You saw an escalation of players participating, more people participating in arenas week to week to week, which is just numbers. So Key says, off-topic question, with Solar Armadas, does having loot officers on multiple ships increase the total loot received? Yes, because each ship is going to get whatever loot they get, and then that officer is going to boost that loot. So yes, like if you want to run 2 different loot crews, you can. You can. Yeah. Adam says, I get why they wanted to limit arenas to a time window, but they chose a window where I'm not typically going to play. And that's fair, Adam. I did a survey with just trying to figure out and track, you know, all these things. And they are currently running in it in the time slots that most people said they'd be available, but it wasn't everybody, right? And I personally am of the mind that, like Incursions, arenas should be rotated days and time. Like currently, Incursions is running on times that just don't work for me, and I'm not going to have Incursions content for y'all tomorrow, right? Because as y'all see, I'm going to try to take my kids to hockey games and let them experience life. It's Halloween. If you have kids, you're probably going to do something with your children for Halloween, whether it is you're going, you know, trick-or-treating, or you go to an event, or maybe you go to your church, whatever. I'm just simply not going to be around. I'm not, you know, I'm hanging out with family. So that makes it bad for me. It means I'm not going to be one of the people that we can track that participates in Incursions. All I can do is shield and not get raided. So, hey, Triax, welcome back from your extended break. How are you doing? Where should I focus on catching up for content I missed? Triax, I'm not sure how long of a break you took, but I would say the most important loop that is new right now would be Mirror Universe. And the main thing I would say is get your NSEA unlocked by doing Galactic Invasions, which happens roughly twice a month now. Do Galactic Invasions, get the NSEA, and work through your mirror loop. So, is there anything you've learned from your new account that you do now on your main account? No. No. There's nothing that this has taught me that I've like transferred to the new account, but there are definitely things about new player gameplay and lifestyle that I've been like, huh, that's different. Like that's different than it was before. So, different than it was before. How to get tickets for Tickets of Terror? I put out a video yesterday. Money, money, money. You got to spend money. You got to buy them. You don't have to do. I'm not buying them, but buy them. Or simply do the SMSs, which is what I'm doing right here, to get your candy corn tokens for the free-to-play one, which is Nightmare Nexus. Now, they could very well decide to be super generous tomorrow and just give out a token. Like, wouldn't surprise me if they give out like 1 token set, right? Maybe they'll give out 1 token set, but those are some good rewards for 1 token set. But short answer is it costs $50 to get the pack that lets you do these 4 events. If you spend $100, you get 4 times more rewards in terms of candy corn. I'm not buying either pack. That's just me personally. Y'all can do whatever you want. Rev's not buying that pack. Now, is Rev going to go after these officers? You are darn tootin'. I'm going to dump everything I can into this fella right here. Because, again, talk about Nurse Chapel, Tom Paris. Meme was here earlier talking about how good they are. Hugh's right there on that same list. So I'm going to do anything I can to get towards Hugh. So if I can get 10 shards, that's a big thumbs up. Are you trick-or-treating as a pirate again? I'm actually going. So my daughter wanted to be a unicorn fairy princess. I don't know. She's a child. So I am going as unicorn security. Yep. I'm doing the typical dad thing and going easy and cheesy. Now my wife is dressing up like a pirate because for whatever reason my sons are dressing up as pirates. I don't know why. So I'm matching my daughter and I'm going as unicorn security. Real men hang out with their daughters. Just letting y'all know. Don't ignore your daughters. Love them. They're adorable. Does Mbanga below deck? Oh wait, Rev's not a pirate. I am a pirate. I'm just not going as a pirate tomorrow. I'm matching my daughter. Your 4-year-old daughter wanted to be a wicked witch. Mine wanted to be a unicorn fairy princess. So she has a little adorable unicorn fairy princess outfit, and I'm gonna be her security. So. Oh hey Draco. Yeah, I did not recognize the name at all. I texted you a while ago. It's good to see you around. How are you doing? I love that your YouTube name is now Living the Life. Good to see you, Draco. And hey, Alexis, welcome in. Can you get the silver blood more than once? So there are no rewards. I'm pretty sure you could summon it more than once if you wanted to, but there are no rewards to do so, right? You summon the silver-blooded Voyager. It's basically just a hidden Easter egg, allowing you to get the special avatar, etc. But I don't think there's a point to doing it again. You don't get anything extra. Like once you got it, you got it. Make sense? Let me check my events real quick. Make sure I've done them. What? Wrong one. Events, Nightmare Nexus, Bucket. And yep, got it. Nailed it. Love it. Happy. All right, I'm proud of myself actually doing events. It's something I'm not used to doing. All right, we're going to swap this around real quick. We'll get Chin back out so we can go do our dailies. All right. Doing well. Switched to a government job, and we're expecting our second child as of 3 weeks ago. Congrats, man. That is awesome. I love that. Yeah. I just know you don't use Discord as much anymore. I'm still on there all the time. You're more than welcome to hit me up. And hey, if you get some time, you can play War Thunder or something with us. Just a nice little fun game. Play on the side. It'd be good to talk to you again. It's good to see you. Not that you're being kicked out, but I'm glad you're here. It's good to see some of our friends from the olden days. You're going to be a 6'5", 220-pound Jawa. Homemade costume, almost 503rd approved. Well, that's pretty awesome, Ryan. You're making me feel bad that I'm rocking a t-shirt and aviators, but sure. Sure. Don't forget the Sour Toes event. Okay, I'm going to go look. Not knowing what the heck you're talking about. Sour Toes. The what now? All right, you're going to have to enlighten me. Oh, the Cerritos. Okay, yeah, it doesn't apply here. This is a level 24 account. Cerritos doesn't happen quite yet. Cerritos doesn't happen quite yet. Edward says, I see 5 epic ships waiting for me at Ops 40. I have Jelly and Monavine from territory. When I jump up, am I jumping to 42 still for the Valdor? I would say yes. Yeah, I mean, I still tell people to get the FKR. I think that's very important. I think it's very valuable. So yes. Also, that annoys me. I want to get that out of the way. Like just having that notification up there. I know y'all couldn't see it, but it was bugging me. And also, I don't know if this was from Erwin's super chat earlier, but we now have $1.27 towards my kids' first hockey game. Whoever did that, greatly appreciated. I didn't see a notification on my phone. It might have been Erwin's super chat. I'm not sure, but whoever donated, I just want to say thank you. And if you want to message me so I can give you a personal thank you, please do. But nothing came up on my phone, so don't know. But whoever did donate $1, thank you very, very much. I do greatly appreciate it. All right. Bartman says everyone should go ahead and jump to Ops 51. Yeah, we're going to pass. No, thank you. No, thank you. You don't think the NSCA reduces the need for an FKR 42? Nope. Do not. Do not indeedy. For several reasons. But no, I do not. Was watching one of your older videos yesterday. Do you still auto grind in the 50s? Yes, I absolutely do. I actually auto grind probably more in the 50s because of the Texas hostile systems. They give out more XP and I can just leave ships up there to get what they need. Now, I also will still use the augment systems as well to auto grind for my ship XP. This is obviously the place that most of us would do it right now for like a lower level or in the 30s. But yeah, I auto grind all the time up here. This big, looks like a hat, Texas 10-gallon hat. That's the reference. So right there. But absolutely do. Auto grinding in that space is great for not only your Monavine, but for other ships as well. Who's this? That's a slow, look at the slowness. That's why I'm going Vidar. I might build the Kamari, but look at that. It's speed, baby. You need speed. You need it. You need it. Just hit Syndicate 40. Unlock the 4th FC slot. Have all free-to-play FCs. Which 4 would you run? And happy Halloween, DP. First off, good to see you. Love that you're here. Here's what I'm currently running on this account. If I was you and I had 4 ready to go, I would do Admiral Kirk, Sloan, Janeway, and then that 4th one would be a balance between Spock and 7, depending on what I was doing, right? So I'd have Sloan. 7 would be like slot 4 mixed in with Spock. So for example, if there was like a leaderboard going on or I was pushing up in level or something, I would have Spock active, but my top 4 would be Kirk, Janeway, Sloan, and then 7 and or Spock, depending on what you're doing. And congrats, by the way. Congrats. Congrats. Does your faction need to be a certain level to open new missions? Well, all right. Not that I'm trying to avoid the question, Ronan, but that's a very hard question to answer because there's about 6,000 missions in the game. There are some things that are ops locked. For example, the deep space mission. You don't get that to level 38. Going into Ascension for G6 is a mission. Going into the really, really deep ends of the game, that's a mission to get into the 61 plus, right? So technically the answer is yes, but there are also a lot that have no locks. But almost every mission has some type of ops lock. Like if you look at the patch notes when they roll out every month, you'll notice things like bonus missions and they'll say like level 25 plus. There are almost everything has some level of operations lock, some level. So yeah, it just depends on what exactly you're looking for. Why place Janeway over Spock? It comes down to what do you need more of? And the thing with Spock was efficiency. And it still is efficiency. Like he's very good at helping your efficiency. But what is he helping you be efficient with? A lot of times it's not materials, but regular resources. Now again, I'm not saying Spock is not a good officer, but a lot has changed since he first came out and we talked about how good he could be. I do like his always on abilities, like the research speed and the construction speed. But if you go through, let's do the architect one. So you see the storage, I don't need any of that anymore. This one, I don't need any of this until I'm pushing up into the 50s and 60s in today's game. Nobody will ever have a shortage of this, right? The average player will have no shortage of partial titanium and lithium right now in the game until they start pushing up to the upper levels. Ship construction speed is good, but again, how often are you going to use that? And then get down to here, weapons damage, that's very negligible. Go over to the mining side. Well, y'all know how I feel about mining, but this one, like the mining side is actually good for a lower level player, but how much? So it just comes down to what you're needing or what you're finding is valuable. For me, I like 7 a little bit more, but that doesn't mean Spock isn't good. It just depends on what you're doing at that particular moment, right? It just depends on what you're doing. Spock is still solid, but I do like to add in that Spock was the first one to come out with Kirk. And that's been 2+ years, right? So naturally, we know how this game works. Over time, you're going to see the overall value just diminish a bit. And I think that's just kind of where you're at. Whereas, like, reason I went after Janeway for this account is 2 major reasons, but I'll show you some of them. So number 1 was always on ability. I want more warp speed. More warp speed is huge for me. I want that. But also, she's going to make Q trials easy. This account is not going to experience the same level of problems that my baby or my main account did with Q trials. Like I'll be able to do better against Q trials with this account because I'm starting with Janeway. Does that make sense? So it just depends on where you're at. Janeway has some really good abilities, including some great always on abilities, like the shield health one, which obviously I'm not there yet on this account, but that'll be a nice little boost. And then of course you've got all the little Q trial bonuses that will benefit me as I'm making the push. So Janeway was valuable and 7 has some really good valuable abilities. It's just, again, context of what exactly you're trying to do. Thank you, DP, for donating $5 via Super Chat to me and my family. I tremendously appreciate it. And let me actually look. Oh, I found it, by the way. It was Cutie Grim. They did it through our website, revduce.com. Cutie Grim, thank you so much for your $1.27 donation. It did go up on the board, and I greatly appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. Cal says, getting Kirk FC and maxing out the impulse speed boost was a game changer for me. It is huge. So I actually have Kirk up right now. So that's the one that I have. I'll tell you, though, I'm actually using the warp speed one. It might blow your mind right now because I just complained about impulse speed, but warp speed is just as, if not more frustrating if you restart. So if any of you are considering restarting, one of the things that you're going to run into is the time it takes to get anywhere is a complete pain in the bollocks, right? So to improve that, I actually went for two fleet commanders that give a bonus to warp speed. That isn't that impulse isn't valuable, and I can flip to impulse whenever I want to because it's a selectable ability. But Janeway has the always on ability for a warp speed boost, and I got one from Kirk. That way it's not taking me 10 minutes to get everywhere. But the impulse one is also super valuable. But I actually went warp times because it is so annoying for me. So annoying for me. Yeah, now Kirk does give warp range Fenris, but not until way, way down the road. I mean, heck, my main account does not get the warp range bonus from... I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I could go pull it up. I don't think... I know it's in the background, so y'all won't see it, but I'm looking at it right now. I don't even think I got that yet on here. Oh, I do. Never mind. I'm wrong. No, wait. I'm not wrong. I am wrong. Okay, I have it 4 out of 15 on my main account, so I'm getting a 2.8% bonus. So I do have it on my main, but I've only upgraded it to 4 out of 15. So it's there. I haven't invested in it a tremendous amount, but you're right, it is there. But that's not going to help me here because I'm nowhere near that. But long term, you're right. That is a super good beneficial upgrade. And I do feel like that Fleet Commander Kirk has maintained his value more than Spock has, but Spock is still really, really useful too. And hey, Andy Cool Gamer, good to see you. Shadow, good to see you as well. So good to see you both. Brian says, I have 3 FC slots. I have Spock, Kirk, and Sloan, and now Janeway. What 3 should I use? Again, Brian, kind of goes back to what is valuable to you. Spock is really good. Some of Janeway's best stuff is Q trial related. Maybe that doesn't play into like what you care about, right? Maybe you would rather have the efficiencies that you're getting from Spock. And if you look at the Admiral rung of what Janeway does, Armada damaging, maybe that doesn't give you any value either. Maybe you don't really care about the Armada stuff, which would leave only this track over here. And this one would be really good to have depending on your level. One sneaky good one is this one right here. Increases base cosmic particle cost efficiency. Now this is a 51 plus player benefit. So if you are a player in G5, this one individual ability is actually super good for you. You just might not have realized it. And that is giving you a discount to cosmic particles for your researches. And that is in the station tree. You got Rhodinium, you've got cosmic particles, and then you've got your intelligence. And a brain always mixes up which one they're in, but they're in Galaxy Station and combat. So that one's really good. Then you get up to this one for your repair cost. Higher levels would enjoy that if you're in your 60s. Then you got the whole health boost, which is very, very nice. Anything that you can do to give you more survivability directly, even in small amounts, is good. So Janeway, for everybody, the scientist tree is super valuable. For personal accounts, you might have more value here or no value here besides the always on abilities. So, and GSK says Spock is slotted during spend events, which is the right strategy. I mean, if you want to be as efficient as possible during spend events, absolutely have Spock there. So, Swifty, good to see you. So the thing that annoys me the most, how long it takes for the CC building to be upgraded. I was out of the game when it released and missed out about 3 months. I just got your Enterprise D and your Op 61. It'll be January before I get it free to play. It would take $300 for me to hit CC 50. One thing I would remind you of, Swifty, uno momento, por favor. If you have not looked at this or paid attention to it, oh, I got to switch accounts to show that. Okay, well, we're going to switch accounts real quick. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll just put display capture on for this one. Boop. Ignore the fact that it's outstretched and everything. Just ignore it, please. Because I can still show you what I need to show you. Go over into your research tab. Hit the mirror button. Artifact Gallery, District 56 War Room. Now that doesn't help everything like your CC building, but you do have a lot of these type things coming in the game. This was just the first set that came to mind, but there's more than this. Like the Cosmic Particle one, just picked up. They're starting to put up a lot more efficiencies into earning things like buildings through whether it be FCs, research, etc. So keep an eye out for these. Now I know this is not the CC building, but keep an eye out for these. These type of things are becoming more and more prevalent getting thrown into the game. So be on the lookout for those type of things, making it easier to actually upgrade all of these buildings. So just something to keep an eye out for, future content type deal. Keep an eye out. Meme says Command Center building is really helped out by FC7 and the Nova building. Truth. Truth. So, speaking of, I've got to upgrade my Nova building. I've got 3 Nova building upgrades waiting. I think 3. I think I have 2 or 3 waiting I need to go do on that other account. But I got to finish doing dailies over here and stop getting so distracted. So, Drew says, I know FC7 has some CC benefits. Correct. As well as the cosmic particle section of the galaxy, but I'll take your advice to heart. Yeah, that's just all I'm saying is just be on the lookout for those type of things to help as a catch-up mechanic. One thing I will continue to gripe about is that a lot of these really beneficial things are getting thrown everywhere. So then you got to like hunt down Rev or hunt down Meme or hunt down Jules or hunt down Chrono or whoever to go, okay, hey, what do I need? Because they're throwing all these good things just wherever they can stick them. And I wish this game would take the time to consolidate things or make an amalgamation in one area of like, here's everything that's efficiency, everything for buildings, you know, that type of deal. And we just have everything just put in all these spots. So it's easy to forget about them, right? Like it's easy to forget that Fleet Commander 7 can give you discounts on buildings, right? It's under the Fabricator. Is that what it's under? Fabricator? Yeah, quantum communicators are awarded on a daily basis. It's an always on. That's nice. All right, so it's easy to forget because everything's all over the place. It's really annoying. So I completely get where you come from. Just want to make sure everybody's aware of all these little things that are popping in and to try to take advantage of them where they can, if they can. So, hey, Mary, good to see you. Any changes to officer crewing for invading entities beyond what is in the video? The only thing I would change for invading entities is if you've unlocked the new officers that just came out, like Tol-Ra, Tol-Li, etc., run those. Like I would run Tol-Ra, Tol-Li, 5 of 11, go loot, bang, 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 take them out. So other than that, not much has really changed. Man, we do have that entire list of officers. I actually went, it's in my Discord, but I know not everybody uses Discord. I get that. So I also went and put it in the spreadsheet as well. I went and put every officer that currently works in the spreadsheet. Let me go grab that spreadsheet. What is it called? Oh, what's that spreadsheet called? See, we have too many spreadsheets too. Crud. What is that spreadsheet called? Because I want to be able to just share it with y'all. What is it called? Somebody's gonna comment before I think about it. Son of a biscuit eater. What is that spreadsheet called? Because I have to look it up, and I don't want to go searching through my Discord. So now here I'm just staring at like an idiot. Hey, Jules. Welcome. The officers that work in Chimeras. I think if I look up, nope, not that. What was that spreadsheet called? Mirror Universe and Galaxy Quest. Is that what it was? Ah, thank you. That's the spreadsheet. Nailed it. Thank you, Jeffrey. So if y'all go to that spreadsheet, again, this is in the Discord. I did go into it and edit it. So if you go over to Saris Invasion, if you go to the Saris Invasion tab at the bottom, here are all the officers as of when I put them in that work, don't work, etc. Now, it's not pretty, Jules. Apologies. I'm not great at spreadsheets like y'all are, so I just blankly threw it in there. So if you want to go pretty that up, you're more than welcome. But I just went and threw in all officers, and that doesn't say all these are good. Like, should you run Gonzalez? No, but it works. It's there for those who care. But I put this in, I don't know, a week or two ago. I don't remember. That way you can know what works, what doesn't for your main primary officers. That's in the spreadsheet, which you can find in my Discord, or if you need it, we can post it right here, and I'll go ahead and share it. Copy, link, post, shared. There you go. So if you don't use Discord, now has been shared in the chat, and y'all can use that. There you go. Sharpie has a prettier version floating around somewhere? I'm sure she does. I mean, we have a lot of amazing volunteers and people who really help out this game, and I try to shout out all of them, and I believe it. I am not the best at prettying things up. I might be able to give you the information, but I might not be able to make it as like pretty. Now, I will say I do make nice graphics, but I don't make nice spreadsheets. Now, I'm biased, but a lot of my educational graphics I think look really pretty. Here, I'll put one up as an example. I have a format I use to pretty up my pictures and stuff. Like this one. This is my basic format to give you all a graphic that gives you the basic information, and it's still nice to look at. So this one is the example of calculating ship power. So I can make stuff like this, like I'm decent in Photoshop, but throw me on a spreadsheet and I'm a cow at a Newgate. I got no idea what's going on. I need people like Stewie and Jules and Quazel and Blue. They've got to handle that side of things. I'm ignorant. But you need me to do something in Photoshop, I can make whatever you need kind of pretty. Just don't ask me to do it in a spreadsheet. And you're welcome, Shadow. Happy to help out any way I can. Time Lord, good to see you. Says greetings from the UK. Hope you and your family are well and have unlocked Hugh. Congratulations on unlocking Hugh. Tremendous milestone. Great officer to have. And I'm very happy for you. Great job. Did I finish doing all my away teams? I did not. I should probably do that. So I got one scientist there. And we'll do health. There we go. Throw it out there. Mean says, I do find it pretty funny that we're talking about how we can't find the spreadsheet / chart for something immediately after Rev was complaining about Scopely putting researches in random places. The irony was not lost on me. It was not lost on me. So yeah. Can you make my wife prettier? I mean, yeah, by giving you a different wife? I don't know. Is she in the room? Bad. This isn't War Thunder? That's tonight. You're a little early, Mr. Meaty. Our Thunder Buddy stream is in a few hours. You're just a smidge early, my friend. It's a smidge earlier. And thank you, Jeffrey, by the way, for recognizing what I was looking for. Is my poor ginger brain just sat there going, nope, you're not getting the information. You're not getting it. So thank you. Yeah, Viper. So Viper, 4 hours from now is when War Thunder starts. 4 hours from now. So from this moment, 4 hours and 7 minutes, we start Thunder Buddies. You do like watching me intercept things? Thank you. Type ! Enter for new wife giveaway. No, Bartman, that's not what we're doing. That sounds dangerously like trafficking. And we don't do that. Is your field training showing 99 unclaimed rewards? It is. So I've got on this account, everybody's like, oh, Rev, the Scopely knows your accounts. They give you everything. Nope, I've got a bug. And they won't fix it. So this one is clearly done, but I can't claim my pike shards. And it's really irritating. And now my notifications show that I've got everything just sitting here. It's really annoying. Just FYI, Rev goes through pain too. It's not just y'all. I also have horrible experiences. It's just stuck saying, hey, collect me. There's nothing to collect. Nor can I get all my shards. It's really annoying. Yep. All right. I said earlier because your clock's going back. Normally 11 p.m. for me, 5 hours from now. So American daylight savings time does not happen until this weekend. And yes, my state has DST, but November 3rd, which is Sunday, is when ours falls back. So you are right. I am about to be a little bit different time than you, Viper, but you got to wait like 4 more days, and then America's going to do their DST. Because one, DST is stupid, but two, of course, countries can't coordinate their DSTs, so they're all over the place. Ours doesn't happen until Sunday. It'd be extra annoying when you hit 93 out of 100 on pike. Shut up, me. Shut up. Stop talking. All right, Mary says, I can't even get into my Voyager, Montavine, NX1 training to even do them. So shoot me a message on Discord, screenshots and such, and see if we can't figure that out with a ticket. So I can try to escalate things if needed, but that's not even be able to access it is very weird. Hit me up. Hit me up. We invented time, so anything else is a you issue. Okay, the UK did not invent time. Like, what? What is going on here? Stop it. Stop it. All right, back onto the focus point of today's video. Have y'all done the survey? All of y'all being goofy and having fun here. Has everybody gone and done the survey? I know most of you have probably not. 300 people here. Appreciate y'all being here. There's that. Any tricks to get more fusion rods besides your daily turn-in? No. But remember, there are abilities that make that cheaper. It's actually Janeway. Isn't it Janeway who does that? Hold on, let me double check. I think it's Janeway. No. Which is the one? Not that. Which is the one that does the ceiling rod cost? Could have sworn it was Janeway. Is it Sloan? It might be Sloan. Is it 7? See, we're all guessing. We're all guessing. Now, Meme says it's Janeway. Oh, it's right there. That's technically kind of what I'm talking about. Increases base cost efficiency for removing forbidden technologies. Bam. That. So this means that you'll need less rods for said purpose. Then there is also one on Sloan. I don't know about 7. I don't remember 7 having one. She very well could. I don't remember 7 having one. But Sloan would be probably in the mechanic tree, because there's the forbidden tech, cost efficiency. There's the... Okay, yeah, it's the tier up catalyst one. Shields, repair, mitigation. Nope, not there. Okay. Where is that one? Or did we just like call this one wrong? Because that's the proto matter one. That's the catalyst one. Does he not have one for rods? Protected cargo. See, remembering all these things is a pain in the butt. But I knew Janeway had one. All right, he might not have one because it's not going to be in his tactician tree. And then Lorca has skill for upgrading FTs. Yeah, Lorca has one. Obviously, I don't have Lorca on this account. It'll be a long time before I get Lorca, but Lorca has lots of goodies. Lots of goodies. Yeah, no roads on Sloan. Didn't think so. All right. I believe you can get them from tiering FTs as well. Wonder if there's a list for that. That'd be a Jules question if he's floating around still. Meme says Sloan is upgrade cost rather than rods, if you remember correctly. Let's see. That would be under... Surely they wouldn't have it as an always on. No, it's not an always on there. Yeah, I didn't think it was the always on there. So leader, research efficiency for mats and resources, which is quite good. Repair cost efficiency, and we got this one here. Reactors and catalysts when tiering up, and artifact shards. Oof. Okay. So I don't think he has it either for rods. I just think he does it for catalysts and protos. Anyway, that was a very long-winded way of answering that you kind of have that with Janeway. Very, very, very roundabout way of getting to Janeway. Did not record the tier up rewards. That's okay, Jules. I don't blame you for it. If anybody has recorded that, let us know, and we could, put that somewhere in the list of, the drawer of things that we don't have room for. All right. Do we get him in some point for free? Oh, he already has a free-to-play path, Shadow. To get Lorca free-to-play, you have to get the Vindicator and then do the Vindicator refinery for about a year and a half. But, yeah, he's already got a free-to-play path through the Vindicator refinery. So that one we already have. Terran Faction Store? Yeah, so that's... Oh, the Terran Faction Store gives you a daily gift of rods? You know what? It probably does. It probably does. But I got this done. So we're good here. I'm going to collect. I'm going to check my nodes real quick, and then we're going to switch to server 20 because I need to do the Cerritos and everything else. Yeah, we're good here. Good there. Click. Switch into server 20. All right. Here we go. All right, I got to switch my officers around real quick. I really don't need to, but I'm going to. And honestly, I'm not even going to move things around too much. I'm just going to go grab my freebooters real quick. Scope will release a $100 prime to speed up FC acquisition with Vindicator. That already exists. Ken, I don't know if you're being facetious, but that already exists. I don't know if you know that, but they literally already have that. There is a $100 prime that doubles the amount you're getting from the Vindicator refinery. Already exists. You're late, or you're being silly. I don't know which one. All right, now we just need a free-to-play path to the Vindicator. November. So, you realize they did that already? Yep, they did indeed. Not something I would personally buy, but they did indeed. Like, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're a spender, you're just going to buy Lorca. Why would you buy the speed up? The only reason to buy that is getting more of like the Epic FC credits and more of the Lorca credits in that refinery. But even then, to me, that doesn't have value. But again, I don't think of things like most spenders do. So I guess there are people who like that. I don't personally see the value in that. So, yeah. Meme says, I have a tier up reward giving rods banked, but it's one of the ones that doesn't say which tier it is. It's not 2 or 4, though. Those are trial bells. Well, Meme, you know, if we want to, we can use my Discord. My Discord is a great place to gather data. We can always use that as a data gathering point. We just go in there, see what people say. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. What is the best way to go for free game for ships after beginning to get faction ships? What is the best way? Are you asking which ship is the best to get? Whichever one you like. Specialty ships are basically always needed to be obtained. And as far as FKR goes, we're at this point in the game, honestly, just pick what you like. Like if something's pretty to you, if you like it, go after it. Who's this? Ooh, nice, Sarek. Scary, Sarek. Ooh, hey, who is that? Max. Oh, nice. Let's go repair that real quick. One thing about the Vorcha, as much lower repair time. The repair cost is higher. Much lower repair time than my other ships. Where's the survey link? Almost forgot. I mean, you can go grab it real quick. Let's see. It is right here. And I will share it again. There you go. There you go. Sarko is very good. King Gaza, please don't troll like that, man. I know you're trying to be funny, but there's clearly people here who don't know. So don't troll people like that. Thank you. It'll be in a new loop that is a free-to-play loop to get a new ship, to get the Vindicator, to get Lorca. Nice. Has the survey been positive? Depends on what you're referring to. Depends on what you're referring to. Generally speaking, yeah. Again, what are we referring to? Pylum going in the scrapper? I mean, it doesn't have to. You don't have to scrap your pylum. You're choosing to. If you're going to cry about it, don't do it. If you're going to cry about it, don't do it. You don't have to cry. You can keep it. I kept mine. I don't plan on scrapping my pylum because scrapping G4 ships is pointless. You get basically nothing. Like the rare parts you need for your Sanctus, you're really not getting that much from scrapping your pylum. So, any trick to promote Mirror Picard for someone in the mid-30s? So Danielle, the way to tier that up if you want to would be through the Terran faction and spending the currency on his upgrades right here. That would be your path if you choose to take it. If you want to upgrade Mirror Picard, here is your upgrade path, which is going through the Mirror Universe and doing all the button clicks. And of course, obviously progressing through the rep and then progressing through the ranks. So. Oh, not available in the mid-30s. You're right. That's not available in the mid-30s. In the mid-30s, you're SOL. Short answer. I skipped on the mid-30s part. That's my bad. Yeah, if you're in the mid-30s, you're SOL. You'd have to wait for, you know, a treasury or a flash pass or something that had, you know, those shards in it. There is not a path to unlock MU Picard if you are below level 40. Camera's out of focus? No, it's not. No, it's not. Unless it went out of focus for some reason, I didn't see it. The current territory pass? Didn't even think of looking there. Which that reminds me, I need to do territory. But yeah, he is in there. That reminds me, when is our next territory? And I got to do waves. When is our next territory? Let me click this button. Next territory is in 4 hours. Okay. I got territory during Thunder Buddies. Please, somebody who visits us on our Twitch channel, for those that don't know, I do stream in 2 locations. If anybody can help me, remind me tonight when Twitch starts to put my ships out for territory. Please and thank you. If anybody would be so kind who's going to be at the Twitch stream later, there's the link if y'all haven't followed it before. We stream about 4 hours playing multiple games on Twitch, just hanging out with everybody, having a lot of fun, including Star Trek Fleet Command. If anybody can help me out, please remind me in 4 hours because I'm not going to remember. 2 Ningers from Germany. Guten Abend, wie geht's? Yeah, it's Abend over there. It's evening. Reason why you don't want to stick around G3 is because it's dead. They're no longer making content for G3. Dark Torch, that's the exact reason why you should stick around, dude. That's what makes the game better. I would give the exact opposite advice to what you just recommended. Like, the game is so much better and more enjoyable because of that fact. That's my opinion. Like, I think that makes the game significantly better. Not because FOMO can't hit you in the 30s. It can't. Like, there's nothing there. Like, I mean, you have tons to do, but you don't have the monthly FOMO punching you in the face. I love that. I absolutely love that. But that's me. I mean, y'all might not agree. We'll see, because this account's heading back to the 30s, but yeah. Open a German channel as well. I mean, Lars, we have German content creators, if you didn't know that. Like, I don't speak fluent German. I speak enough German to randomly start a conversation and then look at you very confused. That's the extent of my German. I know pieces here and there. My grandmother was full-blooded German, so I have a little bit, but I am certainly not fluent. And we have German content creators. So, can you add to the survey? Haven't tried the feature, as I haven't tried arenas yet. You can just skip the question if you want to. The PvP arenas question is not a required question, so you can just skip it if you like. The 30s is waiting for faction credits and mass specialty ships. I don't feel like that's how it is at all. What do you mean? Waiting for faction credits? Do your away teams. We've really reached an era where nobody should be short on faction credits anywhere above 35. Now, below that, sure, I completely get it. But if you're focusing on your ATs, faction credits should stop being a huge bottleneck. And anybody 40 plus who's started their Voyager path also should be getting copious amounts of faction credits. How do you get away team experience below 40 events and then doing dailies? I already hit crits and I'm only level 24. But I also know who I'm targeting, right? Like, I know that I need to go after Gorkon and level him up. I know I've got to go after Carol Marcus and tier her up with her abilities. So I'm focusing in. I'm very, very picky about who I, invest that early away team currency in. But, I just, and that logic has been the same for a long time now. Remember, I talked about Charvanik, Carol Marcus, Kirk, Nero, etc., Gorkon, those being hyper important years ago, right? Years ago. If you're focusing in on those and you're putting in as soon as you can, and then when events come around, you're taking advantage and you're getting the extra stuff, and sometimes passes will have it and everything, and you're investing, you can be like me and hitting crits early on. Now, are you going to have everything 100%ed by 35? Probably not. I mean, that'd be some hardcore dedication. But this account's not even 3 months old. I'm sorry. The 710 account y'all were just watching is not even 3 months old. And I've already got Nero, Kirk, and Moreau, who are doing 3 major criticals, or 3 major away teams they can crit on. So, and now the game, if you were to start over, so if anybody here was to start the game over, feel free to join us on 710. If you were to start the game over, you get 6 epics like in your first month. Like, they give you the epics now. They give you Kirk, they give you Nero, they give you Gorkon, they give you Grush. I got another one, so I guess it was 5. Let me go check. Wrong button. I need to pull it back up. I've got it down. But they give you those at the beginning of the game. Now, you still need to get Carol unlocked, but you get Carol by doing your 30-day chest. So simply not missing your photon tokens. So that's how I was able to get that. And because of that, faction credits haven't been as much of a problem. I'm running into a faction credit problem in that I need more faction credits to upgrade officers. Like, I haven't upgraded Kirk because I'm dumping faction credits into trying to get my Federation officers maxed. But I'm looking over on the other screen just to see how many of these I've unlocked. I've got, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 15 rares unlocked so far. And yeah, 5 epics. And I'm not buying packs or anything. So. Who says, I'm interested to see how all that applies to newer players. The ATAs are amazing once you hit 40, but to get your G3 ships is a huge uphill climb. Well, I can put it this way. I'm going to pull up my faction right now. At level 24, I am sitting on 1,000 Federation credits, and I have been spending them on the Federation Recruit 2 chest. Now, I will say, I have an advantage as I'm coming into these new accounts knowing what to do. Right? So a brand new player might have issues, which is why I'm trying to have these accounts for when new players come in and say, hey, make sure you're doing this, right? Make sure you're doing this. But yeah, it's becoming easier and easier because at low levels, the game is being far more liberal with what it's giving out. Not enough. It's never enough, but definitely giving away a lot. Badges are more of a bottleneck for me than faction credits. I agree, Nate. I think because to get the badges you need, Nate, you've got to be doing the discovery loop. And I haven't even unlocked the discovery on my level 24 account. Like, I haven't gotten it unlocked yet. So badges are more of an issue than faction credits in terms of a lot of your upgrade cost for lower levels. Just, if again, assuming a player is doing what they need to do, you know? Best way to grind for upgrading the Voyager. So Frederick, remembering what level you said you were at 35, you simply need to hit the Lost Hostiles and get the Herogen Relics. What a lot of people will do is use the big event stores like the one we just had this month, and they'll use event stores to get their specialty ships or at least speed up the acquisition to make that happen faster. Or are you saying you've already unlocked the Voyager and you're wanting to grind with the Voyager? Which one? You have Mess Hall 78, very nice. I am a child, and I have not upgraded my mess hall because it is at 69, and I'm sorry, I don't know if I'll ever be able to upgrade it from 69. I think it'll be there forever. But mine is currently 69. And I don't honestly know if I can bring myself to upgrade it. So, yeah, it's I'm a juvenile. What can I say? Outlaw Thursdays can give you 2 free badges per week. Kinslayer, good bring up. And the badges, that would start with your Stella Loop, so 28 and above. That is a solid call out. But even then, considering the number of particularly command badges you need, I do agree that that is still a bottleneck. And independent credits are really tough to get in the 10s and 20s. Just recently got on to Ops 40. Sitting still while I catch up on research. Are you asking should you move up? Because you've got a exclamation point, not a question mark. I'm not sure if that's a question or not. Vic says Server 69 will be no more unless Scopely reverses merge direction. Sadly, Server 69 is merging, and that beautiful, beautiful title is disappearing. Meme says badges got a big boost from Apex Thursdays. Not sure if that's a thing till 26, 27. It's not a thing for me at 24. So I'm assuming, and I'll double check this when I get there. And see, this is one of the reasons that I restart, right? Because it's Meme is somebody who's been around for years, very knowledgeable. Jules, very knowledgeable. None of us, if any of us tell you that we know everything in this game, we're lying to you. Because this game simply has too much, right? There's just too much to keep up with. Too much to constantly remember. So, oh, I didn't do a pull. Okay, I've got doubles to pull. All right. Yeah, I remember there was lags. I couldn't do my pulls one day. All right, so we're going to double up here. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I restart, so I can double check and learn what's different. All right, are there survey systems with higher than 56s? I'm looking for higher systems to get more G5 survey parts. Yeah, there are, Kevin. Honestly, Well, you can go to stfc.space and look up hostiles. And also depends on what style hostile. Like, are you doing mirror universe or where at? Let me pull up stfc.space real quick. We're going to look up hostiles by level. Hostiles, reset filters. We want to do surveys only. And sort by level. And can I go to like the last page? Let me go to the last page. Yeah, let's do it this way. So, for example, display capture. Q-snap. Didn't hear it, but it happened. So, like, there are all your ISSs, but, like, there are your Belosian miners, your Romulans, those are your 60s, 58s, 57s. So, again, it depends on what specifically you're going after. So, you're going to notice a name change as you get into higher levels. You're going to see a lot of, like, the Immortals and the Belosians. And that would be something like that one. And let's see, there's your 5-star broken parts. Bam. Now, I'm not saying amazing sourcing. There are also other places to get this. But if you're looking specifically for miners, there you go. There you go. If that's just what you're looking for. Then, of course, you have these as well, which are the big O's. And let's see, the ISS Enterprises. This is going to be your loot goblins. So remember, this is unique. Now, the box here drops liquid Trillium D, which is nice. But just remember, the loot goblins are a little bit different. So, yeah, if you ever wanted to do it this way. And then you also have that one. I forgot about the Texas having a 60. But anyway, you can go to stfc.space, simply select surveys, and then sort by level if you are looking here. But if you need anything, yeah. There you go. All right, let's see. What other questions are we hitting? Pseudo says game has a lot and things are different now than when we came up the ranks. It's very true. It is indeed. And that doesn't make it a bad thing. It just means that if all of us who are doing this whole content thing, whether we're doing spreadsheets or videos or whatever, all of us have to keep up with things. You know, and restarting is a great way to do that, or simply talking to a ton of people in those areas. All right, so I did that. Let's do Monavine. I need to go do solos again. Always something falling behind. All right, where's Monavine? Is for some reason over there. We're going to swap this for the Voyager. Voyager will go mining in a second. We'll swap this and we'll go lay out the Monavine to do its auto grind, since I can't even do its pulls today. All right, distractions. When we have a G5 specialty ship, what do you mean specifically? Like a G5 only faction ship? Don't see that happening anytime soon. So a little bit of Rev history here. Back when G4 was being designed, when G5 was being designed, I was having conversations with game design and, at the time, the head of live ops. And one of the things that I was pitching was, I said ships needed to escalate through G rankings. So back in the day, a G3 ship was only a G3 ship, including specialty ships. And the conversation centered around the Enterprise D. So when I was talking to game design and the head of live ops, we knew obviously the Enterprise D was coming because they were doing TNG. And the idea and the debate was, well, do we make the Enterprise D a specialty ship that everybody can get and then use for a long time, or do we turn it into a big ship? Because their argument is going to be big ship equal big money. Like, we want people to go all the way to the very top and dump tons of cash on that. My proposal to them was, I said, hey, what if instead of making it the top of G5, you made it a level 35 ship that had 18 tiers? Sounding familiar? So, no, I'm not trying to say all this is my idea. Simply, this is what I pitched many years ago. And I said, make it, 15 to 18 tiers, and it carries you all the way. Well, they've kind of ended up taking that idea with the Borg Cube later on, which is fine. But that was like the original idea. And we've seen that implemented in small form factors through almost every specialty ship since. Then you had the pure representation of that with the Borg Cube. Like the Borg Cube is basically exactly what I said they should do with the Enterprise D, except they made the Borg Cube much weaker in the beginning than I would have made it. But the Borg Cube is essentially what I pitched, 4 years ago, which is fine. I love it as a idea. In practice, has my idea been perfect? No, there's definitely flaws in what I pitched, and I want to be very clear that I don't think I have perfect ideas. Nor do I think that this is all because of Rev. This is just something I pitched to them. But they did that to get as many people participating in that ship as they can. We're still at a point, and if Chrono is still here, he can throw out the numbers real quick. We're still at the point where there aren't enough G5 players to start giving them dedicated content and ignoring everybody else. Does that make sense? So that's why almost every special ship that comes out is still in either the upper G3, which they've basically stopped doing that, or G4. And the ones that are coming out G4 are still very low level G4. And that's why. Right? Because I think, Chrono, I think we're somewhere around 25,000-ish, maybe a little bit more G5 players now. I don't have it memorized. I know the G6 players is like 5,700 right now. So there just aren't a lot when you talk about there being over 200,000, active accounts flying around willy-nilly. So that's why I don't think that you're seeing G5, or probably would see a dedicated G5 only ship for a while. Instead, what you're getting is a lot of what you're seeing with, for example, the Vindicator. The Vindicator is designed. I'm gonna quote Scopely. It is specifically designed, air quotes because they're real quotes, specifically designed for G6 Solar Armadas. But when you get the Vindicator, you get the Vindicator at 40. Even though it was, by their words, designed for G6. So that escalating methodology is because of where the players are at and the inability to get all the players leveled up, but you still want them to be able to buy the thing. So here we are. Here we are. John says, do you still grind Texas ships daily with the Monavine, even though it's locked till 51 for me? Yes. Yes. And one, it's nice to have the loot just sitting there, right? That's always nice. Also, where is this guy that's coming after me? Because honestly, I'm going to go hit this. I'm just going to launch that and hit it because I need the juice. So I don't know where the chaser is. Did somebody get my chaser? I'm going to launch that and see what happens. Anyway, Graduate says Vindicator is a waste of time other than the refinery. Yeah, but at the same time, that refinery has got goodies in it. So, Yeah. Darius says in G6, you don't need the Vindicator. Your ships are strong enough to make it without it. And I agree. Look, I said this when it came out. I think the Vindicator answers a question nobody was asking. And that question was, can I be better in Armadas? And the answer is yes. I mean, if you, for example, in G6 had a Vindicator at your level, yeah, it would be useful, but you don't need it. It was the answer to a question nobody was asking. Doesn't make it bad. It just doesn't make it something that you should prioritize. But here's the flip side of that. I'm always talking about them needing to do stuff like that. Like, instead of making a new problem and then selling the solution, they just brought you in another solid ship. And to be honest, I actually kind of want to curtail everybody from making negative comments about that. Because generally when a specialty ship comes out, the only reason we define it as good is because it erases a loop. Example, NSCA Protector. You can hate that Galaxy Quest is in Star Trek, but if you don't get the NSCA Protector, you are literally stabbing yourself in the foot, face, hands, everywhere, all day, every day. It is a must-have ship. Why? Because it takes the god-awful mirror loop and turns it into a 5-minute a week loop. And that's why we praise the NSCA Protector. The Vindicator just makes an already existing loop better. And to be honest, I think that deserves more praise. I really do. It takes something that already exists and said, hey, you can be better at this if you want to be. Instead of making a whole new thing that we're over here like, oh my God, this is so awful. It's so painful. Why is my life terrible? And then here's a magical ship to fix it. I feel like we've been a little bit too harsh because truthfully, isn't that what we want? Right? Don't we want stuff like that? All right, Kevin says it'll be a G6. Oh, it would cost a G6 player $2,000 to get in a G6 space or wait a year. Plus the... okay, Kevin, I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't make sense. I guess I missed a first comment. An ISS Enterprise D skin for the Protector would probably sell to a lot more people. I honestly doubt that. I mean, I'm your biggest advocate for getting more skins in the game. But I don't think that you're going to outsell specialty ships. And even the Vindicator just didn't sell that well. Still sold over 10,000 units in 48 hours. That's over $1 million in gross revenue in 48 hours. From a ship that we agree is not even that popular. That's a lot of money. I don't think just a general cosmetic is going to do that. But I do think long-term cosmetics are better for your financial situation. Oh, well, thank you. Okay, so we got the... Okay, something's wrong. Well, I don't need the active players, Chrono. I just need the total number of players. I'm assuming if they're in G5 and G6, they're active because they exist. I mean, who's going, who's really not doing their G5, G6? Can you give me G5, G6 who simply exist? Because like G6, you're missing like 700 people just because you use mining activity as a measurement. So it says, I'm all for idea of the Vindicator. I just not going to spend to upgrade it. So it'll be useful next year, maybe. Completely fair. I mean, I haven't even upgraded my Vindicator yet. Like I haven't even done the Thursday event. Why? Simply because time. I don't think about it. It's not on my priority list. But I do want to say, I don't want to hate on the Vindicator because truthfully, I believe it's good for the game that they made something that builds on an existing loop. And if you disagree with me, feel free to type in the comment section. But I'll be honest. One thing that I've wanted Scopely to do for a long time now is to focus more on things that already exist in the game and stop making new loops. And I think the Vindicator did what I was asking, so I think I should definitely not be negative. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, you're more than welcome to voice your disagreements. Now, there's definitely an argument that you can make that it could have been better, but I think what it's designed to do, it does it extremely well. It's designed to be a tank. It's exactly what it's sold as. Like, it's not supposed to be a warship. It's supposed to be a tank ship. And it does its job very well. Just, did you need it? All right. Gentleman says, many of my alliance mates are level 49, and their best fact ship is A34 Epic. They use the NSA for everything, even able to kill hostiles and go on with it. See, Domo, I would not recommend that as a playstyle. I mean, you can, but yeah, that's not recommended. And most people who are doing that are spenders. And spenders have their own recommendations, right? Because to level up things like your NSCA like that, you are needing to buy materials you don't have access to. The NSCA is very unique in that depending on what level you are, you can buy upgrades for it for levels that you are not privy to. Like you can have an 800 million NSCA at level 50 because you can buy the stuff ahead, but everybody else can't do that. So Joanne says, what's been your favorite content added this year? For me, it's probably the Zindy and NX01. Good question. Best content of the year. I'm gonna pull up just so we can have it on the screen and look together. Here is everything that's come out this year. Here's your STFC arc history. Shout out to Smurf who put this together. Again, always like to give credit to the people who do all the work. So right here are all the things that have come out this year, starting with the NX01 down here. For me, if I had to pick one of these, if I only could pick one, what was the best? If I could only pick one, it's either arenas or waves. Arenas or waves. Arenas and waves. Those are my tops. And I honestly can't pick between them. And if you can't tell the theme, my theme is I love playing actively with a group and interacting with other people. That's my favorite thing. So those are my two favorite things. I can't pick between which one I like the most. I like them both. And both of them are as you know, one of our commenters says, do you have time for it? I make time to do both of mine. Like I will skip things. Like I will specifically skip entire loops to do waves and or arenas because I enjoy the activity with my group. I'm not saying everybody has to feel that way. Just how I play. Like I know a lot of people, and I already see them, are mentioning Mirror Universe. I can't say that because I hate at my core, Mirror Universe is everything that I think is killing Star Trek Fleet Command. It is my belief that Mirror Universe and every design like it is what is killing Star Trek Fleet Command. Now, am I saying that the Mirror Universe research tree is not beneficial? Absolutely not. It's super beneficial. But the Mirror Universe as a whole is what is killing Star Trek Fleet Command. It is a ridiculous amount of content. It is overcomplicated for no reason. And it is extremely time and pay gated, because the only way to reasonably progress through it is to purchase and spend on things like the NSEA. I personally believe things like Mirror Universe are what kill Star Trek Fleet Command. It is simply too much, especially when you compare it to the fact that this all came out and then literally 1 month later, this all comes out, and then a month later, this all comes out, except this. I think that's what kills the game. Way too much all at once. That's just my opinion. I do not enjoy Mirror in any way. I do my Mirror grind, but I don't enjoy it. And I will absolutely skip it if I would rather do something else. Like if Arenas comes around and I have time, I can get lost in Arenas because I'll be having fun. And that can mean that I accidentally miss out on doing my Mirror loop, and it's not going to upset me, right? Whereas if I missed out on Arenas, or I missed out on doing waves, or I missed out on something else that is group interactive, I feel bad and I wanted to have been there. If I miss my Mirror refinery, no big deal. I honestly don't care. I'm going to try to do them every day, but I just don't care. But I do care if I miss out on things that involve interaction. That's just what matters to me. So, you like Mirror Wave Defense? Yep. Mirror Wave Defense and regular waves. I like both of them, and I do both of them. So, I will definitely give you all the time requirement. Can definitely be a reason people don't like it. But as I tried to explain in my grading video, just because I give something an A+ doesn't mean you have to. I mean, I love anything that is involving me interacting with y'all. Like, when I play Arenas, and you can ask people that I've played against, generally, I'm going to message whoever I was interacting with the most in Arenas. I'm going to thank them, give them a good game, give them a GG, and maybe spark up a conversation. And I love that. Like, one of the things that makes these games so cool to me is the community and the interacting with each other part of it. Like, that's what I really enjoy the most about this game. So, of course, things like Arenas are naturally going to be on my top list, even if it's, buggy sometimes and problematic and absolutely needs fixes, absolutely needs improvements. I love those type of features. So, Funky says, I missed out on a Mirror event because of Arenas this week, and I did not miss it at all. Yeah, there you go. I mean, and again, no denying that Mirror has fantastic research and stuff for your game. It absolutely will make you a better player. I just, at the core, I really dislike stuff like Mirror. So, all right, let me pop this off. Let me go see the numbers that Chrono's given us real quick, because Chrono's so kind to spend time doing those numbers. Freaking nerd. All right, here we go. Total accounts per level. Shiny. Here you go. Always love giving y'all numbers. So in terms of who all is in the 50s, there are 28,931 accounts right now in, honestly, knowing how many are at 60, I'm just going to go ahead and say there's now around 30,000 people in G5. There's around 30,000 people in G5 and around 6,000 people in G6. So again, giving you like the numbers of why they're not making like just pure G5 content. Well, here's why. Now you'll notice a big shift. A lot of those players who were at 39 have now moved up, where the 40s is your biggest spot. That's like your biggest area. All right, where it used to be here. But that's, you see, sharp drop off. Sharp drop off. And it should be noted, just real quick, that how Chrono and STFC statistics track stuff like this is different. Because at any given time, there could be 100,000 like level 1 accounts. But by nature, we just eradicate those. Like, don't worry about those. So if you're curious, population numbers, there you go. Fascinating. I mean, I think numbers are important. Numbers are a great way to help me and other content creators have balance in like what we're seeing, what we're thinking about. So they follow John Connor in the 40s. Well, they've finally started doing some of the things that we asked them to do. They're giving away more primes. right? They're making sourcing better for certain things. And my biggest argument is if you want people to level up, yes, give them more materials, but you need to give them more officers. You need to give them more ships. You need to give them the things they need to make them strong enough to level up. And Scopely is slowly doing that. Are they doing it as fast as they should? Absolutely not. They don't do anything as fast as they should. But there you go. What you spending the candy on? Depends on which account. On my lower level account, I'm spending it on Hugh. On this account, I'm definitely going to tier up Kira Nerys. I don't know if I'm going to dump the rest into Kira. Goes back to PvP arenas. Wrong one. As the wrong event store. So Nightmare Nexus. I am, I'm 2 parts away from Kira Nerys, and then I don't know what I'm going to do after. So I can go ahead and do that now. So there's Kira Nerys. Now she's tearing up. I don't know if I'm going to dump the rest into Kira, like go for the next tier, or if I'm going to dump into Mira Picard. I honestly haven't decided yet. Kira was my main focus on here. And again, going back to arenas because of that. Go and repair this. There we go. Picard Hue or TNG Hue? TNG Hue. Yeah, the Hue. The one below decks that gives me criticals. That's far more important than Picard Hue. Not that Picard Hue is bad. Picard Hue really needs multiple tiers before he takes off and feels good. But yeah, it's a regular Hue for my low level account. All right, let me scroll down real quick and find Kira. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade her so I don't forget about it. Because I will forget about it by the next time the next arena rolls around. And there she is. So now I'm going to be taking her to tier 3. Knocking that up to a 20% reduction. Which will help my PvP boat. You can also invest in Odo. You can. I just don't feel like Odo's that good. I feel like Odo's fine. But I don't feel like Odo is going to help my game as much as this would in PvP, for example. Odo is not bad. I just don't feel like Odo has that great of a below deck ability. It's solid. But a 20% at tier 1 and then maxing out at what? 180? What's it max out at? STFC space when you don't remember everything. All right, let me go to officers. Odo, what was that, 100 that he maxes out at? 80? 100. Yeah, so max out at 100%. Not that great. Not that it's bad. It just doesn't get me that excited. But what does get me excited that I have to give a huge thank you for real quickly is to Raymond. Raymond, as I roll my R's because I have skills with my tongue. Thank you for donating to me and my family. Raymond just donated $10 to help pay for the concession stands and the ticket cost of taking my kids to their first ever hockey game. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to put it on the screen. I appreciate you. You're a legend. Thank you for supporting me and my kids. Very, very grateful to all of you to allow me to do what I do to support my family. Freaking nuts. So, all right. Twitter says, I don't have a max Dazok yet, so I'm putting a bit into him. Kira is also really good to counter Honor Guard Worf. With the new rock, paper, scissors of the crew Fu, reducing HG Worf until he's deactivated in round 8 is valid now. It is. And there are multiple ways to do that. Right? So, I know it's taboo to say, but PvP, not counting the Tantalus field, but if you're running into PvP with most people, there is more balance now than there was before. Right? There's more balance in PvP than there was a year ago today. Not saying it's perfect. I'm saying there's more that you can do to counter certain strategies than used to exist. And I'm encouraging people to take advantage of them if they like things like PvP. If you don't, then don't worry about it, right? Because obviously all the loot that I'm dumping into PvP officers and stuff could go into better things if that wasn't important to me. You know, but my PvP doc is this one right now. And this is my typical PvP run. So you see I've got Picard Q, as y'all talked about. There's Kira Nerys. There is 7 of 9, who also needs to get tiered up, actually. And then I've got the very, very underperforming Goza just sitting there because the Vorchow's usually here, and I've only got 3 spots. So these really don't do anything. They just exist. She actually needs to be upgraded again. I remember I just got her tiered, been working on that, promote her up. And that knocked her ability up to 18% more isolytic cascade. So Tantalus Field just breaks it all. It's a shame. Yeah, it does. But at the same time, most people don't have Tantalus Field. So it works out. Most people don't have a Tant Field. But you're right. It definitely jacks things up. But I just really want to hit on the point. Like, you just saw the numbers. Who has all that stuff? Mostly high-level players. The average player is not going to run into those every day. So what did Germany do to deserve the Panthers-Giants game? Well, y'all are still paying back restitution and stuff for the Second World War. That's why we give you those games. That's why we give you those games. You know, Rev, you should make a video with useful PvP crews that are still worth having besides the new crews and strike teams. Vendors, there's not really many of those. Like, you're not going to bring out the old school Trinity. You could bring out the TOS crews if you wanted to. Like, if you just are running into people running nothing but critical builds, you could bring back the old TOS crew. But there's not really that much. The good news is, though, strike teams and a lot of the current PvP officers are sourceable, which is nice. Is it worth doing assimilated research in the combat tree? Not really, Jessica. If you want to do them for completionist sake, sure. FYI, just to show you where those apply. That is for a piece of dead content that is right here. Now, there are some good things in here. I made a video about what's up here that does still have value. But short answer, the assimilated faction is only the hostiles that are Borg hostiles here. So that assimilated research doesn't help you like fighting a Borg cube. It doesn't help you if you assimilate somebody with the assimilate ability below decks or above decks with like mirror data. It only affects these ships here. Now, you can get good broken ship parts here. There are really large concentrated latinum nodes up here. So there are reasons to go up here. But those researches are basically part of a dead mechanic. This was invented when G4 first came out. And there's a massive like Borg cube here at the corner of the beta sector and stuff. And it was really tough to beat when that happened 4 years ago. You know, now it's basically kind of dead content. But there are still a couple of good things up there. Just that research is very eh. How about for OPC hunting on Italios? For OPC hunting on Italios, generally we recommend speed crews. Just to try to get away from the baddies who might chase you down. Because you're generally not going to need a PvP crew versus a miner. So, all right, y'all, we've run a little bit over time, which is, it's fine, but I'm going to let y'all know wrapping up. If y'all want to support the channel, thank you so much. There are the donate links in the chat, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Even if you do, like one of our very kind people did earlier, would donate $1, it helps out tremendously. So thank you to all of you. You're all amazing. I will be streaming again in about 3 hours over on Twitch if you want to come hang out with me, if you have more questions. You can also hit me up on Discord or wherever. I am always available. I'll make that very clear. You are always welcome to reach out to me. I love and appreciate every single one of you so much because you allow me to support my 3 kids. And that's just a dream come true because I didn't have that growing up. So the fact that y'all let me give my kids what I didn't have is incredible. So again, thank you all of you. Hit the like button on the way out. Love you. See you on the next one. And that's it. I'm going to stop talking.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.